The war had dragged on longer than any thought possible. The Koru swarm did not negotiate, did not pause, and did not retreat. They consumed planets like insects on bark, stripping away atmosphere, metal, and life itself. Their numbers only grew. No fleet in the known galaxy had stopped them. Not truly. At best, there had been delays. Temporary walls built of warships and desperation. The Unified Council, once proud and orderly, had fractured into panic and silence. Dozens of member species either fled into hiding or surrendered outright. Some even allied with the swarm, hoping for mercy that never came. One moon remained. One final outpost of resistance, Cradle 9, orbiting the burned husk of what used to be Rihanna's Prime. Its shield generators flickered under strain. Its defense grid was already shattered, and in the depths of its underground citadel, a council, Met High Command was present, Admiral Levin of the Theric, Scholar Marshal Duno of the Ilari, and strategist Nara of the Delvon. Their species were once rivals, but that was long buried beneath ash and loss. We have no more ships. Levin rasped. His mandibles twitched in frustration. We spent the last of our carriers trying to hold Line Delta. Duno blinked slowly, his crystalline form dimmed from stress. Our knowledge banks are already being offloaded. At least our cultures may survive if anyone ever finds them. Or if there is anything left to find, Nara murmured. Her voice was hollow. The swarm will break the last barrier in hours. All that's left now is to choose how we fall. There was silence, until another voice broke it. We don't have to fall, said a younger officer seated at the far end of the chamber. All heads turned. He was of no high rank. His uniform was unadorned. He had barely spoken since the battle. For Delros Station, most assumed the trauma had broken him, but now, his voice held calm certainty. Admiral Levin narrowed his eyes. Explain yourself. The young officer stood. We have one last option, not a ship, not a fleet. A person, Duno hissed with what might have been scorn. Another speechmaker, another symbolic sacrifice? No. The officer turned slowly toward the locked archive door at the back of the room. A human. At once the chamber filled with reaction, disbelief, outrage, fear. They're extinct, said Nara flatly. Lost during the Rift Wars. Not extinct, the officer replied. Hidden. Duno's glow flickered. Even if that were true, why would we awaken one? The officer didn't flinch. Because the Koru remember them, because they fear them. That quieted the room. During the first encounters, he continued, the Koru never pushed into the Terran systems, not even once. They circled, waited, observed, and when the last Terran colony vanished from the charts, the Koru advanced, again. You believe they're afraid of a myth? Asked Levin. The officer stepped to the archive door. Not a myth, a memory. He placed his palm on the panel. It scanned his DNA. The heavy door groaned and opened. Inside was a chamber, sealed for over a century. Stasis lights blinked, dust danced in filtered air. And in the center, lying within a capsule of thick glass, was a figure, tall, lean, human. The name etched on the capsule read, Cale Brennan. The procedure was difficult. Stasis lock was designed for decades, not centuries, but they succeeded. The human awoke slowly, with breath ragged and eyes sharp. He coughed once, then stood on unsteady feet. What year? He asked. 723, Duno answered. Cycle time. Cale Brennan nodded, as if he had merely napped too long. You were kept. Here, said Nara, because of what you are, what you represented, the last of your kind. Not quite, Cale said, but close enough. We need your help. Cale looked out the observation window. He saw the swarm darkening space beyond the moon's surface. Countless ships. A living tide. He turned back and smiled faintly. I was hoping you'd say that. The council prepared him a ship. It was old, outdated, and patched together from the scraps of previous battles. But Cale asked for no upgrades. He merely studied the battle maps, watched briefings, and listened. No emotion showed on his face, no hesitation in his voice. "I only need one run," he said. They gave him a code name. Scythe. He laughed at that. "Dramatic," he said. "I like it." When the final assault began, and the Koru brought their dreadnought to bear against Cradle 9, Scythe launched. His ship should have been too slow, its weapons too weak, but within moments he was already carving into their flank, not just with firepower but with terror. Kale didn't fight like any pilot they'd seen. He moved unpredictably, sacrificed safety for opportunity. He knew where the Koru would go before they turned. His shots were perfect, his targeting ruthless. Then came the moment that changed the war. The Koru dreadnought began to pull back. Not because of damage, because of fear. The swarm had never retreated before. Ever. Now, they did. Kale transmitted one message on open frequencies. To the ones who forgot, this is your reminder. That night, Cradle 9 held. The next day, the swarm split. Within a week, their rear lines collapsed. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as the monsters who had devoured worlds now fled the echo of one human. Just one. In the days that followed, Kale refused celebration. "I was just the knife," he said. The hand that held it was everything we lost and everything you still have. "Will you stay?" they asked him. Kale looked to the stars. "No," he said. "There are others, hidden, waiting. If the galaxy's waking up again, I should tell them." He left the same way he came, quietly. But the council declared a new truth that day. Humanity was no longer a myth. It was a warning, and if ever again the darkness grew too bold, the galaxy would remember. Desperation left them one choice: bring forth what they dreaded, a human,